Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to week 17 of our scripture art journal memory challenge. We have memorized now, this will be our 17th scripture we're working on. And I know this is a Baptist hymnal, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. Today's verse, or this week's verse, is from Psalm 23. And the verse itself is just Psalm 23:1, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." But I'm going to challenge you this week. If you can memorize that, that's awesome. But if you could memorize, if you already don't know it, the whole 23rd Psalm this week, or at least spend some time thinking on it. Like I said, our verse is from the first part, just the first verse, but I think that the entire 23rd Psalm is something that's great for us to reflect on and to remind us of our relationship with Christ and His relationship with us. So we're going to do our journal page. So I have my Baptist hymnal out because originally I wanted to use the hymn song that is called "The Lord is My Shepherd." It's a song that my mom taught me when I was little. That's when she was teaching me how to sing parts and things like that, and she taught me the alto line of that song, and I have always loved singing that song with her. And I wanted to use the actual song, "The Lord is My Shepherd," but at some point in time I have used that page on something else and didn't realize it, so it's gone. Well, then I got to looking, and in the back of these old Baptist hymnals there are these things that are congregational readings. Let me get to one of them. I don't know how far back they are. Here we go. So in this area, what used to happen, or what we used to do back in, I don't know, you may still do this in your church. We don't do this in ours anymore. But the music minister or the person leading worship would read one part, and then the congregation would read the bold part, and then it was just a congregational reading. Well, I found one in there titled "The Lord is Our Shepherd." Or actually, "The Lord Our Shepherd." And I thought that is perfect because it actually has the 23rd Psalm on it. Every bit of that first portion is the 23rd Psalm. So I thought I'll use this. And then I had this paper that has all these musical notes on it, and it's a vellum. I thought that would be really pretty. And lastly, I have this shiny metallic gold mat board. You can see that's what this is. And I'm going to use it to mount this page on. But first, the first thing I want to do is distress this page. You know I can't leave it all pristine and clean like that, right? So let's distress it a bit. And I'm going to go to a different color. I'm actually going to use antique linen. So let me change this ink blender out to the one that goes with it. And let's just see what we get. I haven't used this one in a long time. It may not be dark enough. We will see. It is juicy enough though. That's good. Alright, so let's see what we get. Oh yeah, I like that color. That'll go good with the gold. Kind of the gold theme. I'm just going to run this around here and get it all good and distressed. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to make the focus be on this portion and not so much on the bottom. So I'm going to bring this distressing up a good bit, just higher, so it kind of pushes this into the background and brings that other part to the front. It's not really gonna, take it away, but it kind of gives the feel of it. So I'm just really gonna distress down here at the bottom. It's kind of like focal. If you've ever done any photo editing, it's kind of like when you do a focal point or like a focal blur. That's kind of what we're doing. We're just gonna blur everything out except the part that we want to show really well. So see, that looks kind of cool because it kind of makes that the focal point, and I like it. Now I'm going to take this ink blender and kind of blend that out just a little bit so it's not quite so harsh around this edge. I'm not going to dip it back into the ink because that'll give me too much ink. Just going to kind of use what's left on it. Very cool. I like it. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to be inking anything else. I think it was just that. And now then, let's do this mat board. Let's cut it and get it ready. So what I want to do is I want this just to come out just about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So let me measure this piece of paper. Just like so. So this is 5 3/4. So if I cut this at 6 1/4, we're in good shape. So 6 1/4 that way by 8 3/4 this way. So 6 1/4 by 8 3/4. So let's cut that real quick. And this is the same stuff that I use for making mini albums and things. It's just some of the stuff I get in the package will have pretty finishes on it. And I thought, I'm going to use that gold because it's pretty. So there's 6 1/4 by 8 3. Right there. So why waste it, right? If you can use it for something pretty. There we go. Now then, this guy is going to get mounted on here, and I think I'm not going to do it perfectly straight. I think I wanted to have a little angle, so I'm going to let it be angled like that. And then I'm just going to add some glue to the back of it. Just like this. And I like using the wet glue here just because this paper is very fragile, and this makes it easier than trying to tear the sticky tape strip, because sometimes it'll rip really thin paper when you're doing that. Let's just sit this guy in here, something like that. And I really don't care if the edges are down good, because I really don't mind if they get kind of worn and ragged looking over time. So that'll be cool. Love that. I think I will ink this edge. I didn't think I was going to, but it's white, so let's get rid of that a little bit. See that white edge? Let's see if we can knock that back a little bit. Let's save a step. Much better. See how that kind of went away? So there it is, white. And there it is, knocked back. That's cool. Good deal. Okay. Now then, I want to cut that music piece to fit in my journal. And I know that it needs to be 8.5 by 11, but I've been cutting it a little shy of 8.5 because I don't want it to have that, I want it to fold good, so I've been cutting it at about 8 1/4. So I'm going to cut it at 8 1/4 wide by 11 tall. And I know this really doesn't have any, I know this psalm itself doesn't have much to do with music except for the fact it is a psalm. But the music notes remind me of learning that when I was a kid, because Mom taught me the 23rd Psalm in a song. So I thought that was really super cool. And using the music is a good way to do it. Now let's put it in our album, in our journal. So this is last week's. I did put it in. My camera died last week, so I didn't get to put it in with you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. Now here's the thing. I know that this is vellum, and my glue is probably going to show through, but I'm not going to stress about that. I'm just going to do a very thin edge around it like this and hope that it blends in pretty good. Now you could also do this in such a way that you could hide it behind, but this vellum has those music notes on it, so I think that's going to help to disguise it. But you could put this glue, say, behind a piece of ribbon, like you could put some ribbon above it, or maybe a strip of paper or something like that. Then I'm also going to put some in the middle because that's going to be covered up anyway. Alright, so let's adhere this down to the page. Yeah, I think that's kind of hiding. It's just kind of sinking in there. You can't really see it. That musical note really hides that glue. Can you guys see it? Nope. So see, that's good. Isn't that pretty? I really like it next to this page too. It's really nice. Okay, now this guy, I'm just going to put him straight on. The reason is, you know, I did him with some mat board, so he's going to have a little bit of dimension to him already. So I'm just going to put this straight down with some glue. And you don't have to use a thick mat board. You could just use a chipboard or even just paper if you didn't want to add any dimension. So then I think I might go straight, or I like everything angled. I'm going angled. Just my way to do things is angled. Now that is super simple, but I love it. It says a lot to me. When I look at this page, it reminds me of those old readings we did in church. It reminds me of my mom teaching me this scripture. And it also reminds me that the Lord is our shepherd. And I just love this. I think sometimes simple is, maybe I do them too simple. I know some of you guys do really detailed work and you may get bored with my simple, but I love this. And it also helps to not give us a reason to not be able to do it. Because when they're simple pages, you know you can find time to get them done. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this week. I look forward to seeing you again next week for our next scripture. And just remember, this week's scripture is Psalm 23:1, but I encourage you to go ahead and spend some time studying on the whole 23rd Psalm. That'll be a great way to get some devotions in this week. And also this week on our Facebook group, if you have anything where there's any graphics, or if there's a story or there's an article about the 23rd Psalm or a devotion you'd like to share, be sure to share that with us, just talking about the 23rd Psalm. That'll be our theme this week on our Facebook group. All right, guys, thanks so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.